studio, new podcast, same host, new co-host. You guys are really going to enjoy this one. This is going to be the Headliners podcast here on our YouTube channel exclusively as we wind the music down here. We're going to get everything clicking and moving in the right way. This is Headliners Volume 2. My co-host for today and always, this could be a weekly podcast. Go about 8 to 15 minutes a week. And I'm joined alongside Playa to do a phenomenal podcast today. We got 3 subjects we're going to be talking about here in just a second. Playa, how's it going? How you feeling? I know you've been itching to talk about some of these players and everything you've seen on these live streams. You got to remember, if you're streaming your game live, Playa is watching, and he's going to dissect some of the film, and he's going to do a little bit of that today. But first and foremost, Playa, how you feeling on this glorious Tuesday?
I'm feeling great, Bomber. Thank you for having me.
And we're going to hit the all aboard, but I'll just hit the horn. Let's get this rocking and rolling. We're talking 2 halfbacks. We teased this in the chat already. You know who we're talking about. WYNN, Cameron Quinton. A tale of 2 stories. One late second round pick being WYNN for our beloved franchise-focused New York Jets. He gets a lot of love because, man, he didn't have a great rookie season. He had a late second round pick halfback rookie season, split some carries at the time. But now, in the sophomore season, last season, AMG Season 7, absolutely balled out, continuing to ball out here in AMG Season 8. And that's against the grain without a passing attack. But go ahead and tell us about the other guy, Cameron Quinton. You absolutely love him. He's been explosive. And you believe, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you believe he's been a little overlooked so far.
Well, I don't think he's getting the love that he should. I think he's one of the top backs in the league.
Yeah, this is an explosive back, too.
I would put him as 1 or 2.
Oh, don't say it. Don't say it. 1 or 2?
Jonathan Taylor would be my number 1. I seen him last night, and he put on a show.
Hey, we're talking about that episode 2. If you're a Titans fan or you're a Colts fan, stick around. Second segment, we're going to be talking a little bit about Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry. But let's go on. Cameron Quinton, you got him at 1 or 2?
I would put him at 2. I just can't put him over the veteran, but he's going to make his mark before it's over with. He's got great height, weight, explosiveness. He's just got it all. I think he's a 3-down back, and they need to utilize him more.
Absolute speed demon for 6 foot 205. A lot of people were hesitant at draft time, Play. I know you weren't around for this draft, but this guy came out of Montana, and they were saying, what kind of competition you get out of Montana? 13th overall pick, and it's been a beautiful rise. We're going to talk about those stats right now. We'll see what impresses you the most. Rookie year, 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns. Sophomore year, a little down in the numbers, but he was down in attempts. He was at 1,193 in yards, 9 touchdowns. This year, he's having career numbers, and if his touchdowns, he gets 5 more touchdowns, he's breaking his touchdown record too. But he's sitting at 7.3 yards per carry, over 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns. What's been most impressive to you? The 1,300 yards, the 7.3 per carry, or the 11 touchdowns here at Week 16?
Well, number 1 is the 7 yards of carry. I mean, every time he's carrying, he's getting a first down practically. So he's making it easier on the offense to get up and down the field and put points on the board.
I got something to read off for you, Player, and I just want a 1-word response. These are the last since Week 11. Here are his longs, right? His long carry of the game. Week 11, you ready for this one, Player? Buckle up. 52 yards Week 11. Modest 52. Week 12, down week. He had 17-yard long. Week 13, 75. Week 14, 36. Week 15, 34. Week 16, just a modest 58 yards. I need what's the response to that? I mean, that's just gash. That's blowing up. That's a bomb on the side of the road. Don't drive over there. This guy, oh my gosh. I look at these numbers. His long for the season is 80 for those wondering. And he kind of, probably between week 3 and week 8, weren't his best outings. I mean, his yardage was 34-60, 52-50, 47-73. But then, like I said, since week 10, 11, 106, 145, 65, 113, 151, 81, 159. Stella is starting to get her groove back there in Tampa.
Yes. I think by playoff time, when you got to have a running game to chew up the clock, because everybody's got a great defense, he's going to be a valuable asset to him.
Absolutely. And you know, the NFC, one of the tougher conferences here, a lot of pass heavy teams. You're going to be able to control the clock, and this is a team that can pass the ball too. Was seeing they're sitting at 10th 11th passing yards per game with the #1 rushing attack in the game. This is a different tale on the other side. As great as Emmett Wynn has been, he's only getting propped up by a passing offense that is ranked 30th. They're only getting 186 yards in the air. And to me, playa, you're stacking the box against Emmett Wynn, and he's still continuing to almost get you 5 yards per carry at 4.9 yards per carry, 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns.
Well, it seems to me that the only thing the Jets can do right now is take the ball out of the quarterback's hand and put it in Wynn's hand.
Hit the horn.
I mean, when he got drafted, he looked like he was going to be a bust his first year. That looks like bust numbers.
Let's talk about it. 562 yards, 3.9 yards per carry, and 4 touchdowns. He was the 27th pick in the second round, AMG Season 6. This being Emmett Wynn, 5'10", 202, out of Texas. You expected more productivity, especially right out of the gate, against someone that went to UT versus someone that went to Montana, but it just wasn't the case. He was sharing the load in the backfield, only 145 attempts. Sophomore year, he has that explosive season player, but even, we just talked about yards per carry, right, with our man Cameron Quinton over there in Tampa, and it was
Quinton,
7-3.
yes. 7-3.
The highest we're getting out of Emmett Wynn is 5.0, and that was in his sophomore year. This year at 4.9, just under 5. But sophomore year, 1,300 yards, up from 562. 20 touchdowns, up from 4. That's a plus 16. I think that's why Emmett Wynn has gotten so much recognition along with the franchise focus. We're getting to watch him early and often. But it might be a little overhyped here for Emmett Wynn, because I went into this telling you right off the bat. You remember we first had the conversation. I said I like Emmett Wynn better.
Well, he might have hit his peak already, because I don't think he can match those numbers again he had last year.
Yeah, right now he's about 200 yards shy with 2 games to go, but he's 9 touchdowns shy with 2 games to go. He's only put up 11 so far. And this was an offensive line that was supposed to revolutionize the gang green in New York. I mean, how much money was spent on that line this year? Just yearly salary. I mean, they're up over 70, 80 million on their offensive line.
Now, I don't think I was here for when they did that. Did they get it through the free agency, or did they draft them?
That might have been your first and last day. You might have had a heart attack looking at it. From the free agency, from a trade, they brought in Wirfs from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then they signed Wyatt Teller. He's making $30 million this year. Wirfs is making $13 million this year. Mekhi Becton, he's making $14 million this year.
Now this is the line, right?
This is the offensive line. Combined,
so
30.
So 14. Becton was a draft pick. He was the original Jet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Tucker, the left guard, he's the original. Who's this Bradbury?
I'd have to look on there. Tristan Wirfs was a trade from Tampa. We talked about that, right?
Right.
All right, and then Wyatt Teller was a pickup from free agency that was one of the biggest contracts we've ever seen.
Wow, look at that contract. Yes, I'm looking at it.
And Bradbury looks like likely was a free agent signing a few years ago, but he's even making, look at his salary this year. He's making 10.13.
Yeah.
I mean, man, it is over 60 million on this offensive line. I don't think there's an offensive line paying a yearly salary, a salary this season to that position group, those 5 players. I don't think anybody's playing plus 60 million. And that's there's no rookies, there's no low deals on there. I'm that you expect more from Zach Wilson, 30th ranked passing offense, to pay that much on that offensive line.
Well, it looks like they tried to invest into the passing game and it didn't work out, so they have to fall back on their running game until the passing game catches up.
Absolutely. We're going to put a pin in that one, and that was a great point. We're going to talk about that on the next episode as well. The Jets' offseason was geared towards passing the ball with Zach Wilson. They're 30th ranked, paying $60+ million on the offensive line, and the running attack is actually what's keeping them close to 500.
Right.
at 85 yards a carry, putting them in the top 10 at the 10 spot. So offensively, that has been a complete bust. Defensively, they've been solid against the pass. They could use a little bit more against the run. They're 20th against the run, first against the pass. But we've talked enough about the New York Jets and franchise focus. We're going to talk now a little bit about the game last night, the Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts. You have Jonathan Taylor ranked as the #1 halfback in the league just because of everything he can do, another 3-down back. But who were you impressed with last night? Titans lost by 4, 21-17. Colts improved to 13-2. Titans fell to 11-4. That was AMG Live broadcast number 38. You can find it on our YouTube channel. But player, what'd you see from this game?
Well, I thought Derrick Henry came out of the gate on fire.
Yeah.
And they just didn't maintain it. You know,
and what do you mean
for
by
whatever reason, they took the ball away from him and tried to pass it, and it didn't work. So if they stuck to the game plan, which I thought was focusing more on Derrick Henry, I think the outcome would have been a lot different.
Yeah, let's take a look at Ernie Ramsey last night. 21-27, 279 yards. Solid game. But that's game manager yards. 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He's not carrying you to this victory with 1 touchdown.
Right.
So if Ernie Ramsey, who's been slinging the ball for a ton of yards this season, but against this particular opponent, their division rival, the Indianapolis Colts, the best defense in the AMG, arguably maybe the Bears could be in that conversation as well. He had a game manager numbers. 21 of 27, 279, a touchdown, no picks, 1 touchdown, ain't gonna do it. Derrick Henry, 13 carries, 46 yards, a touchdown. He hadn't even broken anything deep yet either. But in the passing game, Derrick Henry was 6 catches, 72 yards. And he looked strong. And then all of a sudden,
yes, he did.
The second half,
did.
It was more forcing it to Julio Jones, Moore, and A.J. Brown. And between 3 of them, I mean, you got 1 receiving touchdown. The yards, nobody over 60 yards. I mean, A.J. Brown had 5 catches, only 44 yards. Unable to get anything deep down the field. It was a little disappointing.
That's what I was going to say, was they didn't have no yards after catch. I mean, once they caught it, they went immediately down.
Yeah.
It was no breaking, no tackle, or getting extra yards. It was just, it is what it is.
Yeah,
so
the only one breaking tackles in the receiving game actually is who you brought up, Derrick Henry. He was the only one able to stay on his feet after the ball's in his hand. You even look at the 3 catches from Julio Jones for 57 yards. I can remember 2 of them just on the sideline, right? Just jump balls.
Well, the one I was going to say was just a jump ball. He just out-jumped the guy and caught it, but he didn't go nowhere after he caught it. So
3 catches, 57 yards. Out of that 57 yards, 5 of those yards came from yards after the catch. So I think Play hit the nail on the head here. You're not getting anything after the catch, which means you're throwing to guys that are essentially either out of room on the sideline or they're catching these jump balls and coming down. You're not getting anything extra, and it's tough to continue to move the chains when you're not getting any yards after the catch, because that's so quintessential to success in the AMG. And really the only one giving it to you, like I said earlier, was Derrick Henry, and they kind of took the ball out of his hands the last quarter and a half, especially when that 17-14 lead turned into a 21-17 deficit, which they were unable to overcome.
Yeah, they were up against the clock at the time, so they had to go to the passing game, which was detrimental to their health.
Yeah, they took a loss that could have knotted them up. Look at this play. So A.J. Brown, as explosive as he is, right? 5 catches, 44 yards. Out of those 44 yards, the yards after catch were just 8. He averaged 8.8 yards per catch total. You think if you're slinging it to A.J. Brown underneath, there's got to be yards to run for. And it just wasn't
that's what I was expecting.
Exactly. These 5, 6, 7 yard throws weren't picking up anything after the catch. And that's just a testament to the great defense of the Indianapolis Colts. But also, you have to stick to what's working. I think they went away from it. Absolutely correct. Derrick Henry got to get more involved. He's got to be calling for it. He's got to be talking to this offensive coordinator. Call more for me. Look for me. I'd be in the quarterback's ear as well. Now we're going to move on to the final segment of today. I said this is going to be about an 8 to 15-minute podcast, maybe going a little long right now. But we're at the 15-minute mark. We'll get a little sharper as it continues. We're still figuring this out and trying to get our groove and chemistry going as well. I wanted to talk about teams that stick up stand out to you right now going into the playoffs? Who's hot, who's not? You brought up your team. You said the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right?
No, I said the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We already talked about that. The Cardinals it is. The explosive offense of the Arizona Cardinals, but you brought up a good point. What you really like about the Cardinals isn't the fact that they can drive the ball down the field, score so quick. What is it that you love about this Red Sea?
I love their ball hawking secondary. It's like if you throw it up there, it can go back for a pick six just as quick. So that's a great thing to have on when you go into the playoffs. It's a defense that can score you points.
That's a great point. And we're not talking about pick sixes off of throwing it to the flat, the quick throws, the quick jumps. Buda Baker, C.J. Henderson, Brian Murphy. These guys, Levante David, another lurker. We've seen him get loose on live games, haven't we? The old man still got the wheels to pay the bills. We've seen those passes deep down the field, and everything just starts happening. You try to throw a risky pass down the field, this team could return it for 6 at any given moment. And with their offense being so aggressive, if their offense turns it over a couple times, to have a defense that can get you the ball back, to have a defense that can put those points on the board for you, player, super important going into the playoffs. Currently,
yes, it is.
The Cardinals sixth spot at 11-4. They could move up. The Lions and the Bears play. If the Bears end up losing that game, could drop Arizona back. Up front and put them at the 5 seed. So you could see some movement there for the Arizona Cardinals. Also, they're still fighting for that divisional spot, which I think they actually have taken the lead because they beat the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, so they'd be sitting about that 3-4 spot right now. So watch out for Arizona in the playoffs. My team to watch, Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. This guy is starting to find his groove. They're sitting at 5-9. Best 5-9 team you've ever seen in the AMG, player?
I have to say so. I have to say so. First place, too. You can't beat that.
Yeah, they're 4 games under 500, but they're starting to feel themselves now. It's a weird, eerie confidence you're seeing out of Baltimore, and I absolutely love it. I'm hitting a horn for them. Baltimore Ravens are a team to watch. Lamar Jackson is going to get loose. You're seeing him more in the running game. This guy's 150 yards from 1,000 yards rushing. He's been absolutely phenomenal, but the passing attack, Tyreek Hill, Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, watch out for these Baltimore Ravens. And I'm telling you, there's that one team in that first round that people don't want to face. I think it's the Baltimore Ravens sitting at 5-9. They're going to have home field advantage. They're going to win their division. They're going to beat the Cincinnati Bengals out, and it's going to be a very thrilling and fun ride.
And guess what else?
What's that?
If they win the division, they get to host a home game in the playoffs.
You get that home field advantage. And
right.
And I'm telling you, Jacksonville, Raiders, Titans, nobody wants to see the Baltimore Ravens at home right now. They are the hottest 5-9 team I've seen, and their confidence and swagger is starting to take off. That's going to do it for our first show, player. We're still developing our chemistry. I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to post that here in just a few minutes. This was Tuesday. Hey. What's up?
It was fun. It was fun.
It's going to get funner and funner. So stay tuned for the ride. It's going to be fun. We're going to remember, players watching these live streams. I'm watching these live streams. We're looking for people to talk about. You stream your game. We get a glimpse of it. We're going to talk about it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's where we're going to be so far. So for myself and Player, that's going to do it for episode number 2 here, the Headliners. First episode with me and Player. Let me know how you thought in the chat, and we'll see you next time.
Audi 5000.